Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Explaining Hemp. My name is Sarah Williams, and I am the CEO and founder of Hemp for Healthcare in Alaska and in America. And today, I'm joined by Rain with dope panels. I'm really excited. You're going to love this product. This is a unique product. You know I love featuring unique things that hemp is doing out there in the world, but this one for the music industry is mind-blowing. So if you're an artist, I want you to tune in and I want you to listen because this is absolutely going to just change your acoustics. That's the word I need to use, acoustics. So anyway, welcome to the broadcast today. It's been last week we kind of covered this gentleman, but he wasn't there. He had something to do. And so today we've got his face. And so I'm so excited to do kind of a redo on this one. And thank you for joining us. But if you're here for the first time or if you're just still joining us, please put in the comments where you're from. I like to know. I know I have a global audience. So thank you guys for joining me today. So as always, let's go ahead and pray this thing in. And Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We know it is your day and we rejoice and we're glad in it. Father, we ask that you bless this broadcast, that you anoint our lips, that you give us the words to say to teach people about this amazing plant that you put on this planet that can help do all these things that we need in such a time as this. Father, just anoint the broadcast even now and into the future and bring people who need to hear it right here with us. And we thank you for it and just give you all the praise and all the glory. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with hemp news. Let's bring our hemp news screens up here. Any great hemp news in the state of California, Rain?
You know, everything seems like new news to me, but I think you've already covered it. So, I'm behind like a week or two. But first
Okay,
of all,
fair enough. I get you.
I wanted to say, Sarah, thank you so much for having me on, and I really appreciate
You're
being able
so
to. So,
welcome.
yeah, but go ahead.
I'm so excited to have you here. So, okay, so Hemp Industry Daily, looks like it's gone to the dogs. I don't know when all that the news is to report is an article about dogs. I am okay. All right, let's do that.
Yeah, I mean,
So
and they do
it
have like I believe hemp oil dog bags. I
right.
forget who's the company doing that. Um,
Right. And there's all sorts of pet products, right? Remember, pets have
yeah,
endocannabinoid systems just like we do. And
absolutely.
so cats and anything that bleeds red, okay, anything that bleeds red, an animal of all sorts and varieties have endocannabinoid systems. So we have a CBD product for that. We have a cannabis product for that because cannabis is a phytocannabinoid creating product. And so I'm not sure what this article's really about. It just looks good. Second annual Take Your Dog to Work Day, honoring the top canines in cannabis. Important to remember, right? Dog products. Also, though, important to remember a dosage on dog products while we're talking about this. At my work, All About Herbs, we sell dog products. The lower the better. Now, and giving THC to your dog is not a good idea. You actually can kill your canine with too much THC. So be very careful. Don't just grab anything you see off the shelf or, just anything. Just be very careful with the products that you give your animals. They have different dosage requirements. All right.
Are they
Well,
just
okay.
curiosity? Are they targeting but CBD or THC genetics towards certain animals?
That's a good question. I have not done the research on that. I think so. I think I've seen some companies start to get specific in the pet area, but I know that. I mean, we know CBD because of its non-psychoactive components are are overall good, but I haven't heard of a specific genetic. So if you know that and you're watching the podcast, please put that in the comments. I'd like
Yeah, I'd
to
love to
know.
know.
right? Like that'd be great, right? Because right now it's just kind of a generalized topic, and we really there hasn't been much study as to can too much CBD be a problem for your animal, with
Yeah,
smaller organs than the processing systems that we have as humans. So
yeah. I mean,
question.
and size of animal and even breed of animal, I'm sure would have
Yeah,
some sort of
right. I mean, look, you got a smaller liver inside of a Chihuahua
yeah,
than you
yeah,
do a Rottweiler, right? Like, or a Great
exactly.
Dane. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
I'm glad I
important.
have. Oh, I'm
Do you
sorry.
have
Go ahead.
any dogs? Right?
Yes, I have a little fur baby,
Nice,
who's
nice.
yeah still in bed with mom, and yeah,
What kind of a dog is she?
she's a rescue. She's a Papillon like Chihuahua type thing, but it
Yeah,
came in really quiet and housebroken. It was awesome. It really was. She's been an absolute
nice.
blessing in our lives.
That's always good.
And we
When you get a dog that is not traumatized, and
You know,
yeah, that's
I
good.
think they're all, I think being in that situation, I like you always wonder like what your dog went through,
Yeah,
from a little jail cell to a little jail cell.
true.
But she's, it was, just seeing her kind of come into her own, and realizing that she's part of the family has been
Yeah.
a, yeah, very rewarding
Yeah, I
experience.
love that. And you bring up a solid point that CBD and hemp cannabis products for animals can help them settle in and feel comfortable and overcome anxiety and things of that nature. Yeah, you just never
I'm
know.
sure. We never used CBD with our. I just, we didn't see like something that needed to be remedied,
Sure.
and we were always very cautious about like because we had no idea like what it
Hmm.
would actually do, and
Right.
none of the local doctors are gonna even say anything about that or
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the vet. So,
So,
but yeah, yeah. It's so many things, and another good question. Like, have you done any interviews with seed manufacturers in the U.S.?
I do have a seed supplier that I love to go to down with Live Opulent. We have done an interview regarding how to grow and how to harvest. And so he's when I have questions about seeds, I call him. In fact, when I was creating the hemp as food for Alaska's future program for the grant application last week, I called him and was like, okay, how much square feet does 700 pounds of seed fill up? Like, because I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
a
And
great
so
question. I'd love to
I
know.
needed to know that. And so
Yeah.
it was something like 20, it was like 2,000 cubic feet or something. So
Okay.
anyway, we
Yeah. No,
figured it
that's
out. But okay, so back to our headlines. Georgia vape shop raided, 2 arrested for selling Delta 8. There's that problem again with Delta 8. We made so much headway. I mean, so much headway in going, okay, guys, cannabis can be legal, Delta 9 can be legal. We're doing great. It's all good. And then now there's this new chemical. Oh, and we're scared again. So let's go backwards and let's go ahead and prohibit again because that works so well in the past.
what is
Come
Delta
on,
8?
guys. Delta 8 is a it is found in you can find it in the hemp plant, and it's a psychoactive component just like Delta 9, but it is got a kind of a different high to it. So Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, and I think there's Delta 12 even now. So that are all Delta. When you start with the Delta, you're pretty guaranteed a psychoactive effect.
Yeah.
And so the problem has been that these CBD shops have placed Delta 8 within their CBD products. And so people go and they get a high and they're like, oh man, this has been so good. And then they go to another CBD shop and they get a same 100 milligram tincture, whatever. And they're like, well, why am I not getting high? Well, it's because there's no Delta 8 within it. So I personally want it listed on the label that Delta 8 is in it, because if I'm buying it for myself and I don't want to get high, then I need to know. Like, we need to, like, the people just need to know. You don't need to ban the product, because that's not working. That creates a black market and that creates unnecessary criminals. What it then needs to do is just put it on the label. Just go, yeah, this, okay, educate the people. This is a psychoactive component. Don't give it to your kids, right? Okay. But we really have a long way to go in waking up for that. So it kind of feels like we've gone backwards
Yeah,
for that.
that is
Great
unfortunate.
article on the Supreme Court handing biofuels a setback in waiver dispute. I'm not really sure what it is, but it says something about hemp entrepreneurs looking for opportunities in biofuels were handed a setback Friday by the Supreme Court, which sided with small refineries seeking more time to comply with federal mandates. Well,
Wow.
to requiring them to blend more biofuels into their products. It's definitely changing times right now, with Joe Biden shutting down pipelines and the world just systematically moving away from fossil fuels. It's happening. You can't stop it. Quit complaining about it. That doesn't do you any good. So instead, embrace biofuels and embrace hemp as a biofuel. Okay. But
And I might be stepping outside of my box here, but I always kind
but
of preferred algae to biofuel.
yeah.
It just seems like a faster production,
Mm-hmm.
method.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas hemp, great, but it takes up farmland, and in order to
Sure.
make enough oil, there's just not enough farmland.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
so
So,
yeah, I
so
mean,
anyway, honestly, any way that we can make biofuel, like, I don't care how
exactly,
it's made,
yeah, yeah.
just
I mean,
it's not of burning fossil fuel. The benefit to growing hemp, though, of course, is it's a carbon sequestration plant,
yes,
right?
yes,
So it sucks that carbon out of the air anyway, and we can use the fiber for something else when we grow the seeds
absolutely,
for fuel. So there's a
absolutely.
benefit for both.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
agree for sure. And I think even next week we have a gentleman coming on who's going to be talking about algae, and he's got a special application for algae. And so yeah, I'm
Oh,
really excited. Eric,
that's next week.
yes, next week's
Oh,
broadcast.
I
Yeah.
have to. I
Yeah,
might have to
it's
hear
gonna be
this.
super fun. Okay, so those are some headlines and hemp news. Other than that, guys, honestly, not much going on. Used extraction equipment. How can you manage unseasonably warm temperatures? Honestly, with climate change coming, yeah, okay. Learn what you need to do, but
Yeah, I mean, we have to adapt to our surroundings,
right.
So
What you guys deal with in California is different than what we deal with in Alaska. We have 24
very
hours of sunlight. You guys don't have that. So
no,
it's
no.
a different world here. But okay, cool. Well, thank you for doing. Let's get right into. I want to hear about dope panels, rain, and all this stuff. So tell me. Let's just get right into it, Rain. So tell me about yourself. Tell me how you got into hemp, and tell me how dope panels got started.
Yeah, great to be here. I'm a musician, producer, engineer, whatever my bands needed. I just tried to be the glue. Um, and about this, I mean, I guess about this time last year, earlier, like right at the beginning of the year, um, I was trying to create some sort of, I was just trying to deal with the room I was in. The room that I'm still in. Like, I got a glass window right here, and it's just the whole living room. And there's a lot of outside noise just being in a building, in an apartment building. So I was engineering this vocal booth, but I wanted to, I didn't want the traditional booth, because most vocal booths can get very mid-range, heavy. Like, there's a lot of pressure that builds up within your vocal booth, which is why a lot of vocals kind of sound really boxy. But then I was doing these research on mass loaded vinyl, which creates sort of like a barrier, much like sheetrock would, but it's flexible. There's a little bit of an attenuation to it, and you don't need as much space to put it in. In fact, I created a booth with mass loaded vinyl, and I could just slide it around my room. It's 5 feet, it's I want to say it's 7 feet tall. So it's great for my wife because she's short. Um, and you got a like I made a little desk, and it's just with PVC. I just pieced it together. No nails, and I didn't even glue it. It was just that tight. Um, and then I taped the mass loaded vinyl around, and then like I conditioned the inside with like I just glued like several layers of this cheap foam together, and just stuck it all over. Put some bass traps on every corner I could, especially like right focused like right around the mic. Just trying to eat up that like 250 200 hertz that just gets really cumbersome. And then in the back I actually have kind of a port so that some of that frequency actually leaves. I mean, obviously, like waves of like 100 hertz or whatever, you're not even going to hear because it's just going to leave the box. But in this making, I'm like, wow, I'm just using so much plastic. I'm using so much polyurethane. I'm like, there's got to be something else. I didn't, and I was looking into like it was like all the nerds on like gear sluts. I'm a huge gear sluts fan. Um, and sound on sound and stuff. It was like mineral wool or fiberglass, and my wife was just not going to have that. And I didn't really even really want to deal with it. I just didn't really want it in my space. I
Yeah.
mean, it might be
It's
great.
got bad energy, right? Like it just
Yeah,
doesn't
it
it
just
doesn't vibrate well with your person.
well, and my wife, she's singing, so like
Mhm.
I am thinking about uh, things happen in studios and recording sessions and stuff, and you just don't want that type of thing that could get into someone's lungs while they're singing. I mean, it's very unlikely. I understand in some instances, but the more absorbent you want it, the more fibrous that material needs to be, and
Mhm.
more available for the fibrous material. So, I mean, yeah, you can wrap it and stuff, but you still have toxins on your wall. And no matter how many times you say it's eco-friendly, and how many times you say that studies suggest that it leaves your lungs in this amount of time, and
I
everything's
find
fine.
studies are like statistics. You could make
Yeah,
them say whatever you want them
I
to
mean,
say.
I mean, and that's fine, but it's just an archaic way of doing things. And it's still not good. Like, I'm sorry. Like, so like I started using. Long story short, I like let's keep it with the story. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, uh, yeah, so I was doing this research, and I actually came across a gear slits thing about a guy doing in Germany, just taking some shelves and getting like a local hemp supplier that was making hemp insulation in Germany, and making some like dope traps. And someone joked about dope traps. I'm like, that's pretty funny. That's cool. And I started digging a little deeper, and I realized that no one had done it. I thought well, I mean, I hope this guy started a business or something, started doing this, and didn't see anything. So I'm like, well, I mean, uh, I I wasn't playing music because of the pandemic. I wasn't. I mean, we were still recording. Like me and my wife, we do production on a lot of different things. She's an amazing singer songwriter, and I'm her, very happy, guitarist, bass player, producer, audio engineer.
News. I got you.
Yeah,
I
and
got you.
so we so I I started researching a little bit more about hemp, and like cellulose is cellulose. It will absorb frequencies. So I found hemp traders, and they had bats of hemp wool insulation for like $10. I'm like, why is this not a thing?
I I interviewed Lawrence just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, no, oh, he's amazing. He's
He
amazing.
is.
Um, so yeah, like I went down there, and they had it. I had to cut it, and cutting hemp wool, the long way. I mean, not like usually you cut it in sections, but I had to like cut just flat because it was only like 7.5 inches, and like I'm just trying to make like 2 inch. I'm trying to just make like 1, 2 to 3 inch panel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I'm cutting a long way. It's in like I got so many like various little cutters. Now after watching, like what hemp texture does, I realized I just need a grinder. But
Yeah.
um that like it took me hours to get through like
The
two batches.
lessons we learned. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I tried out some panels that, it sounded pretty good. And you know I just started, I wrapping with hemp canvas. We also didn't want to use wood. um I didn't. I wanted to make everything completely sustainable. So like I found a company called Highwood, and they're out of Pennsylvania, and they make 100% recycled plastic lumber. And so I just had, and it wasn't. I mean, it's more expensive than lumber, but it's pretty fucking dope.
Sure.
I mean, and you don't have to. Like I think it's mostly outdoor settings, or
Mhm.
things near like water. It's where plastic is, does great at.
Yeah.
And it is, doesn't need the same protections that wood does. So it's
Yeah.
great practical use. It's more bendy, and we've had to like, engineer our panels differently than like your typical wood panel. I mean,
Right.
most panel makers, or studio um, uh, uh, creator, I don't know, engineers, will use, classic wood designs. I mean, and they're great. Especially even deflection. I mean, there's still a lot of opportunity for ideas I have for hemp acoustics. And this is still being like, there's been a couple studios, or at least one studio, I believe, in South Dakota, that is made completely with hempcrete. um
Nice.
there's a
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's happening. I know
Yeah.
there's a place in LA that I haven't seen yet, but they have at least one wall that's hempcrete. And I'm very curious about the low end acoustics of that, because there really hasn't been any studies of frequencies below 125 hertz on hempcrete. And there's so many different, with the microionized hemp herd, and the 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 potential for 3D printing
Yes.
with hempcrete. There's so much
Yeah.
research that still needs to be
It's
done.
amazing. I
Yeah.
just recently put up on hempforhealthcare.com. If you haven't seen, my friends, I put up a couple of new products, some hemp earrings. So they're earrings that are coming in the hemp. So they're the hemp leaf, and then there's a water, a fire, a mountain teardrop, a mountain, and a tree leaf. And they're printed out of hemp. They're 3D printed out of hemp. And then I have some sunglasses up there as well that are 3D printed out of hemp. So, what we can do with the 3D printer and the hemp plant is going to just revolutionize everything. Print an entire house, and then we fill it with hemp carpet, hemp paint, hemp mattresses. You know that, yeah. So,
I
okay,
mean,
cool. That's so exciting. So, have you looked at hemp wood as an
I
as a
totally have. And
yeah,
so I so the first I saw was at hemp traders. Like Lawrence is also has another company called Cannaboard. Um and I've been like, I bought I got like a half pallet from him. And I just stripped them down to like 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. And I've just been making panels out of that. And it just, creating, I mean, a basic box with it.
right.
Yeah, lots of work, but just mostly proof point. Like, I'm just trying to stick absorbent material on a wall, or in a corner,
Sure.
or so I just have to
Wherever.
create like something only strong enough to do that. And the hemp wood great, because it's very flexible. I know it's absorbent
Yep.
much more than a wood would be. It is still reflective in some aspects, but I think the way I'm engineering it now, that acts as more of a deflection. And even possibility just as like, just another sort of barrier, or change to the wall, because anytime you have another structure that sets itself away from the wall, you have more opportunity for even other frequencies to get lodged behind, between that and the wall. But also
Right.
it depends on how far you keep it. And so like I try to keep very simplistic designs. You
So
know So go
We're
first.
totally off script, but does this have more uses than just like? I mean, could I put up like a dope panel on my wall as a piece of art, and would it
So
help with acoustics in my house?
absolutely. So it's basically textile art. And so textile art isn't exactly, a lot of people not, are in their own home, might be worried about dust, might be worried about like, does this really fit in my decor? And I want to really stress that, while certain things can be reflective, they will still absorb. And the ways that they are reflective, that a small piece of whatever, thin, like whether it's a design or whether it's, sequins or whatever, those are very small, a band of frequencies that they're going to be reflective. The majority of it is still going to be absorbent, and will still, cut down some of the reflections that are happening in your house. And the voice can cover everywhere, from 10,000, or hertz to
Yeah.
to 90 hertz. So there's a broad spectrum that you want to absorb, and the lower frequencies are the hardest ones to do, because they're just bigger waves, just
What
physics.
a great concept. I don't think Western culture definitely does not spend enough time on energy frequencies. We're getting better. We're definitely getting better, but we're not there yet. And so, so for those of you
We
that
are
don't know,
just frequencies in time.
yes, exactly. And I can
Yeah.
feel you and you can feel me, and we're like 4,000 miles apart. Like this is the reality. Those that are watching, wherever you're at, you can sense my energy and you can get that feeling. And so there's no distance in the spirit. And when I tell people, they come into the store, okay, so I work at a store called All About Herbs, right? Plant-based medicine. And they come into the store and they say, well, do I need this thing? And I say, well, you ask your body. There's a thing called muscle testing, and this primary muscle right here, you just hold that thing up and you say, clear your mind, ground yourself, and say, do I need this? Body, do I need this? If you lean towards it, you need it. If you like seemingly involuntarily lean away from it, you don't need it. And you can do it with anything. You can do it with food, you can do it with something you see on the grocery shelves, you can do it with a clothing item that you want to wear. It's crazy
Uh,
to hear the amount of things that your spirit knows. So the energy that exists, you've just got to start thinking in terms of frequency. And if you're in a place, and I once was too, if you are in a place where your frequency, your energy is way down here, you got to work really hard to bring that up. And that's on you. You don't require somebody else to do that for you. Don't expect, now that's codependency, right? Expecting other people to bring up your energy is ridiculous. So you are in charge of your energy that you emit out to the world. That's the number one thing that you're responsible for, is how am I going to show up today? And so it's amazing to talk about the bouncing off of not just in a sound booth or in a theater or in a place where you expect to hear music, but even in your own home, when you want to create positive frequencies, to be able to have something like hemp that can absorb and reflect and move things in a way that can be positive for your home environment. My gosh, this changes everything for me. Like I can't wait to get one on my walls and just be like, wow, how does that work? But it also impacts the hemp houses for the homeless movement. The idea that even in these houses that we'll be building out of hemp, that we have one more thing that can positively improve the frequencies of the individuals living in these
of
homes.
your
Just
environment. Yeah.
love
Someone
it.
actually made a statement. Said they're learning a lot about the audio stuff.
Uh-huh. I
Oh,
love it.
but was saying that they could hear the difference between our voice and my voice and your voice, and that's
Hmm.
and they're
Hmm.
right. And it's not because of hemp, unfortunately. That's just
No,
because
it's because
I'm
I have
using
a cheap laptop with a really bad microphone.
Well,
Nice.
it's not a bad microphone. It's a different type of microphone. You have an
There,
omni
there.
microphone. I have a directional, and also yours is an active. It's boosted and it's compressed. So and it's also gated, so that it
Mhm.
cuts out when there's nothing coming through, but it's also trying to isolate just on your voice, whereas
Yeah.
I'm focusing my voice right onto a dynamic mic,
Okay.
which has a lot of peaks and valleys. So if I start moving away, you're not hearing that, which means that you're not
Right.
hearing the room noise, which is what I've learned to
Nice.
do over here.
Nice. Oh
So
my goodness, you're such a blessing. Such a
no,
blessing.
you are
Awesome.
blessing. We are all
It's so
blessing.
good. We're all blessings. That's right. That's right. Well, that's awesome. So okay, so how do people get a hold of these products that you've been
Oh yeah, yeah.
creating?
So dopepanels.com. And if someone wants to be able to do like wants to talk with a like a really good dynamic mic, where they can move around and not have to have a mic in front of them. Yes, acoustic panels are essential for most situations, unless you're just have like this huge open space that is totally quiet. It's
You
just
knew what I had right now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I know, I know. Well, we all have, that's why I got into this. It's a problem. I mean, it's a problem that most people can just deal with. But I mean, like everyone from restaurants to school. I mean, schools. Think about it. You have all these kids going on. You need acoustic panels, and they have acoustic panels above them.
Yes.
Most of them are made out of fiberglass.
Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want my
Yes,
kids.
yes,
Oh,
they are. Those little
wow.
panels. Okay, so
Yeah.
um, cellulose in general is the best acoustic, and honestly, recycled paper is incredible and should be used instead of fiberglass. I mean,
Yeah,
for
sure.
for
Anything that's a plant should be used instead of a non-plant. Like
yeah,
that's my stance. Yeah.
and
Wow.
hemp is a great bonder. Hemp is a great
Mhm.
structural support. And that's where I see kind of the future of hemp acoustics. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. So we were talking about this here. I'll show this comment here. So it comes up as dope panels, but it's probably his significant other. It's probably the wife or something. But dope panels commented that we can hear the significant differences between me and Rain's audio quality, and I love that. Like I can only hear my own voice right now. Like I don't know,
Well,
whatever.
but I
But that's awesome to know that there's a ways to improve. Dude, I'm always growing. I'm always in need of improving my presence out there to the world. And so audio is so important, and I think so often we especially for those of us that can hear, okay, like remember there's a whole group of the world that can't hear, that doesn't have the ability. And as we get older, man, we get even frustrated when maybe we start losing our hearing or
you and I
whatever.
cannot hear over 10,000 hertz. There's just no way.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And so for me, let's just be real. I have 35% hearing loss in both ears. So sometimes seemingly even more than that. And it's frustrating for me because then I come across as very loud and everybody's like, just calm down. I'm like, dude, it's just because I can't hear. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I mean, you're gonna balance yourself to what you hear, and
yeah.
most likely it's like I think from playing in rock bands, like always having that crash cymbal right over here, I
Yeah.
have a dip in about 4,000 hertz.
Yes. Yeah. So there is a science behind sound and
Mhm.
and and how absorption happens, and I don't know that. I'm not a musician. I'm not, an artist in that area, but I'm grateful for people like Rain who are and who can understand that and have that kind of brain and that passion for it and that nerdiness surrounding it. So thankful for that. So thankful for that. And it's great to see that hemp can create um areas, it's just one more product. We say, so let me just get into my spiel here, right, guys? So if you're joining me for the first time, thank you for being here. Please subscribe, please follow, please be here for the next one. We do this every Saturday. Next Saturday will be 9 a.m. Alaska Standard Time. And if you're brand new to the Hemp for Healthcare mission, it's very simple. It's a very, very simple one. We grow hemp and we fund healthcare. So hemp has this potential, just as we've seen today, to make 50,000 unique different products that can replace the products that we currently know and use in a way that is sustainable and a way that's good for us, a way that like vibrates better, right? And so it just feels better. Well, that being said, what if we here in America, who desperately need a healthcare system for all of us, instead of just the very poor or just the very rich, what if we created a single payer healthcare system that was directly connected to buying hemp products? Because when we grow hemp, we sequester carbon from the air, we clean soil, or we clean the toxic metals from the soil. And so the idea is simple. We grow hemp and then we place, I don't like the T word. You guys know that, tax. I don't like it. But let's say a tithe. We ask you nicely to donate 10% of your biomass sales into the healthcare fund for the state. Those that are participating will be publicly acknowledged. And then from there, we process that biomass into all the 50,000 different products. And then we sell that product on hempforhealthcare.com. So you as a consumer can go to hempforhealthcare.com, make your purchase, have it drop shipped directly to you, kind of like Amazon, right? And then the profits from your sale go directly into the healthcare fund for your state. So when you are in need of healthcare, you can go. And you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to bankrupt you, whether or not your family can pay for it, or whatever. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine being in a car accident, not having any insurance, and being able to go to the hospital, get taken care of, walking out, and not have a huge 50,000 bill hanging over your head? Could you imagine that? That would feel so amazing, right? Well, if countries like Australia can do that, if countries like all over Europe and Russia can do that, come on, America, let's grow up. We can do it too. But instead of asking you to pay 70% or 40% of your income in taxes, we're going to connect this in a way that creates a social benefit model of healthcare for everyone and creating homegrown industry and self-sustainable industry in the hemp industry. So that's how we do it. There's two other pieces to the model, and that's the hemp for healthcare, industrial hemp for prisons program. So turning our prison populations into industrial hemp farms and processing places and selling those products to the government, because prisons cannot compete with private industry. So instead, you sell those products like food and textiles and building materials to the government. The government, instead of spending their money over in another country, they spend it right in their own state. Well, that makes all the sense in the world. So then we have the last piece of the initiative, and that's the hemp houses for the homeless. So building a house out of every possible hemp product we can think of. Right now, sourceable even now. Hempcrete, hemp wood, hemp paint, hemp carpets, hemp draperies, hemp sheets. Come on, we can do it all. Then we place individuals who are homeless into these houses, okay? Not just to give them a free house. Come on.
Make it a solar farm.
Yes, I love it. Yes, sustainable. I love it.
Every structure that creates shade should have a solar panel on it. If you're gonna do, if we're gonna make,
not to mention the yard they don't get a yard, they get a garden. Okay, they get a garden. But then we place individuals into these homes. And guys, it's not about giving them a free home. It's about giving them a hand up. So you give them a caseworker, you give them a support team, you give them cheerleaders that say, I believe in you. I don't know what broke you. I don't know what got you to the point where you felt like being homeless was the only thing you had as a possibility, but I'm here to give you hope. I'm here to believe in you. I'm here to help you discover what you are good at and put that back into the human race. Because if we don't lift those up from the bottom that are most broken, we're never going to heal as a people. And if we don't heal as a people, we can't heal our planet. It doesn't start with healing the planet first. It has to start with healing our people first. So that's the Hemp for Healthcare initiative. If you love what I'm doing, go to hempforhealthcare.com, donate and buy hemp. If you love what I'm doing, go to somebody else's page and buy hemp. Do something. Go to dope panels and buy hemp. Hashtag buy hemp all over everything you do, because hemp is the way that we do this. And I don't care so much if you buy it from me, but you just need to buy it. Okay. I mean, I do care. You should buy it from me, but it's important that we buy it, right? So
Treat it.
it doesn't work unless we buy hemp. So we got to buy hemp. And so that's the initiative, guys. And so please support it. Donations can also be made to Hemp for Healthcare in ak@gmail.com. As you know, I live here in Wasilla, Alaska. So it all starts right here in Alaska because this is my backyard and my state has an economy that is primarily dependent on oil and tourism. So thank you, pandemic, and thank you, COVID-19, for destroying our economy, which is okay because hemp is hope and we're here to change the world. So, Rain, I'm really excited. Where can people, how can they get a hold of you to ask questions and learn more?
So dope panels, obviously, .com. That, I have my Facebook, my Instagram. You can always email me at dopepanels@gmail.com. You're just pretty simple. I mean, just plug and play. I'm usually pretty available. I have an Etsy, dope panels Etsy.
Okay.
I've tried to saturate myself as much as possible. So
sure. And I've put it in the comments too, the website and the email address. If you're in the music industry and you want to revolutionize your acoustics and bring about better energy in your world, Rain's he's over here. This guy over here.
I'm here to help.
He's the one.
And absorb frequencies.
Yes. It's so good. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you again, Rain, for joining me for this podcast. I want to invite you all to join me next week. We're talking to Eric Maguna with, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Eric, for not remembering. He specializes in algae and doing things with algae. In fact, he has an algae supplement or algae product that he could put in concrete that would self-heal concrete. I saw yesterday, and if you saw me share it on my LinkedIn page, there's a company that's using an enzyme found in human blood to self-repair concrete. Does that drive you crazy like it does me? Because how would they harvest that enzyme? It's found in human blood.
Well, I guess we need humans now.
So algae biomaterials, much better to build with for our planet. Oh, hey, Rayco there. Super valuable info. Perfect. We got a great comment there. I'll bring that up. Perfect. Boom. There we go. So join us next week. We're going to be discussing about how to build with plants. It's going to be awesome. And until then, let me bless you and send you off to be the world changer that I'm expecting you to be. Okay. I need planetary superheroes just like this guy over here. Okay. This guy is a planetary superhero. Every single one of you that are doing something with hemp is a planetary superhero. You can remain humble about it. That's fine. Be humble about it. That's perfect. But in the meantime, still remain faithful to the planet, because if we don't, we won't have one for future generations to be on. Right.
Well,
so
I'm just thankful for all the other people who have been doing it longer than me. And, and people like yourself who I feel are doing the same thing that I'm doing, just trying to make the world better.
That's right. That's right. And just a shout out to Lawrence, for those of you, just a shout out again, hemptraders.com. Go and check him out. Just a number of raw materials there to just really prove what hemp can do. He has been in the hemp industry since the days of Jack Herrera. So come on. So he's
so much from him.
Yes, he is amazing. And so just know, and I give a lot of credit and love out there to the pioneers that have gone before us. Without you, we could not do what we do just by being here. Like, what's the point? So we're so thankful for that.
And thank you for putting it on the internet that long ago. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. And just be open, guys, to realize that the change starts in you. And it starts in you to start making decisions regarding plastic and regarding, not consuming plastic and buying hemp and buying biodegradable plastic bags and doing these kinds of things that are going to slowly start turning things around until our government starts to make huge sweeping changes. The change, it doesn't matter, honestly, what our leaders do, and it doesn't matter who our president is. Flat out, it doesn't. You can complain all day about it and waste your time. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with your day on a daily basis, how you care about your environment around you, the people around you. Show love, be love, grow in love every day, and you'll be all right. You'll be all right. So let me bless you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he shine his face upon you, lift up his countenance toward you, and most of all, during these uncertain times, give you his peace. In the mighty name of Jesus, I send you off to be the world changers that you are. I love you. Be blessed. I'll see you guys next time.
Be blessed.